If you have ever felt like you are caught in a spider's web of endless tasks and to-dos, you want to stick around and watch this video. Hey, my name is Heather Patterson, and I'm a performance coach to real estate agents across the country. I am playing with the theme of spooky season this week and want to talk to you about the busy trap. I am sure that you have heard somebody in some seminar or podcast or book say something to the effect of, "Don't confuse busyness with business." Yes, you've heard it. Now you heard it from me too. Listen, I don't want to lecture you, but I have to address this here because it is one of the most prevalent things that I see when I work with real estate agents and going from spinning their wheels to successful, producing, fulfilled real estate agents. And listen, I don't have this perfectly mastered. In fact, I too will sometimes allow low-level tasks like making my inbox perfectly organized and at inbox 0, or perfecting my social media post on my personal account or my team's account. And they're not really even lead generating accounts. You feel me? Right? So I am just as guilty of this as you are probably, okay? For the agents that I work with, a lot of times I see a few different things that are very, very popular. Number one, just being a perpetual student. Let me attend this training, this seminar, this masterclass, this panel talk, blah, 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 blah. Let me go and attend that. And they fill their schedule with learning instead of application. I believe that you have learned it. Likely you have learned it. Go and apply what you have learned. Another thing that I see so often is agents meeting with vendors. And listen, I am not to say that you shouldn't meet with vendors. In fact, I believe that vendors are an extension of your business. It is meeting with vendors without purpose, without intention, meeting with them to be nice because you don't want to say no. That's another video, okay? But make sure that there is purpose and intention. What are we gathering for? And if it is simply to catch up and have fun, that's cool too, right? No one understands what the whole point is. Then there's like production and actual business oriented stuff that you might think is business when really it is busyness. What do I mean? Well, perhaps you are working with a client who is just so indecisive and doesn't know what they want. Or is it that you haven't been firm and had a buyer consultation with them and sat them down and helped them become more clear about what it is that they do want? Perhaps, again, the being nice. And I see this a lot, the being nice instead of running your business. Agreeing to show a client homes without, and I'm not going to say your signed buyer broker agreement, although I'm thinking it too, okay? All right, without having them properly pre-qualified. What are you doing? They are not prepared to make an offer. Another one I see, let me implement my new database and get it all perfectly organized, and then I'll reach out to my clients. I laugh because, well, we're just funny little creatures, right? Our minds will have us do anything to avoid the thing that maybe we are nervous about doing, we're not as confident doing, right? That we're still mastering. So don't let these sneaky, spooky little avoidance traps, don't let them get the best of you, okay? Do better. You know better, you can do better. All right, so how so? First and foremost, you must know your priorities. And in real estate as a business, they're fairly simple. And I don't mean to simplify. I am not saying it is a simple business, nor do I believe it is an easy business. I do not believe that at all. Okay. But what I do know is that it is a business of relationships. And either you have a lot of relationships and you would need to nurture them, or you don't necessarily have the relationships. And so you are building relationships, or you have some blend of both. You also have work to do around servicing the business, right? So perhaps you do have an active buyer or a seller who is preparing to list. There are service related tasks and projects that would need to be completed throughout your day and week and month, right? So that you are moving the needle forward and you are conducting business. And then finally, there is like systems and operational business matters that will also be good for you to occupy your time and energy. It's just knowing, well, as it relates to technology or people, systems, organization, what is going to be a high value task or project for you to engage in. So once you're clear about your priorities, and you can do that primarily through a business plan, is what I would suggest, is take yourself through a business plan. Then there's 3 things that I want to recommend to you today on how you can escape that spider web of nonsense and just being like all caught up in everything, the busy trap, if you will, and be more intentional, more purposeful, and move your business forward. Number 1, I'm sure you've already guessed what I'm about to say. Create a schedule and stick to it. It sounds so simple. I get it. And the thing that I see a lot is just how dynamic life is. And so you have to be willing to create the schedule. You'll have things that are just stuck in there, right? Like concrete, boom, like, school pickup is right here. Family time is right there. Getting my kids out, on time to the bus is here, right? And then everything that comes in between. So you may need to have some aspects of your schedule that are a bit modular, but you also have some things that are, boom, concrete. You're going to want to take a look at your schedule on a daily, weekly, monthly, and I would also suggest quarterly basis because of life's dynamic nature. The second one, super practical. I use this all the time. Use alarms and timers on your phone or your computer device, the Alexa, right? You know her or him. Mine speaks like an Australian man. Anyway, so what I was saying was use the alarms and timers to help you stay focused. And then when the alarm goes off, you can shift into the next thing. You can be focused and present and then able to move on to the next. Speaking of meetings with vendors, even fellow agents, that sort of thing, I use alarms and timers all the time for this. And it's for me and for them too. So, because as we're our own bosses, we can sometimes just let things kind of creep. When we have the freedom and flexibility to let them creep, sometimes we will, right? And so what I'll often say is, you know what? I set aside 90 minutes for this, for our time together. I'm going to go ahead and set the clock to, 60 minutes so that when we're approaching time, like we can begin to wrap up, get our check, say our goodbyes, that sort of thing. And then I know you're busy and I'm busy too. And I cannot tell you how often people are like, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. Thank you so much. And I'm like, yeah, amen. You're welcome. And also I'm thinking, great. Okay, I've got that handled. The alarm's there. I don't have to keep checking my watch or my phone and being like totally distracted. I can be with them, be in the conversation. And then when that timer goes off, I can start to, wrap up and begin, kind of transitioning to the next thing. Number 3, and I talk about this a lot, if this word that I'm about to say kind of makes you cringe, then I have some other videos about this. I'll link them somewhere here, there, or somewhere, so you can kind of inspect this for yourself, but get some accountability. Get some accountability. It doesn't have to be from a coach, though I'm a little biased and would suggest a coach, but a colleague, a friend. Kids can sometimes be great accountability partners, so you want to Be mindful of that, right? But get yourself some accountability, especially for something really important that you're working on that you need to move the needle forward, but perhaps you tend to delay. Accountability, right? Just set yourself up for success. It's like a success insurance policy. Hope that that was helpful for you and maybe gave you some practical ideas on what you can do to get out of that busy trap and get into being more purposeful, more productive in your business. I'd love to know in the comments below, what was most useful for you? What will you implement? And if you like this video, I encourage you to hit the thumbs up and be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss the next one. Thanks so much, and I will see you next time.